Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another weekly update vlog. This is Otaku Showboat. Today is a Friday, November 1st, 2019. It's already November. I can't actually believe it, which, it means that yesterday was Halloween. It was a pretty good day, pretty good evening. We had about 40 to 50 kids come by for trick or treating, and yeah, it's about the amount that we usually get. I think it was a little bit higher last year than this year, but yeah, it was fine. I wore my red panda kigurumi to give out candy. Had people actually a few people knew what it was that I was wearing. Some don't know that it's a red panda. They're like, "What is that creature? Is that a raccoon?" No, no, it's a red panda. Red pandas are actually genetically distinct from raccoons, although they are relatively close to each other. They are very distinct. Um, so yeah, that's the trick or treating. Had a few also comment on the jack o' lanterns, which unfortunately are growing, so they are getting tossed today. They are going straight into the trash can today because they are growing mold. They dried out, but still had water on them because I was using some peppermint water. So just a bit of water with like a drop of peppermint essential oil mixed in with it, and that is a bug repellent that repels insects. We had no issues with insects on the pumpkins this year. Last year, we had ants that were attacking my jack o' lantern. I had last year I had made a wolf howling at the moon. Uh, did that carved that pattern. This year, the patterns were a haunted house and a dragon face, the face of a dragon. Uh, Pictures of that are on my Discord if you would like to join my Discord server through the link in the description below this video if you want to check all that out when they looked actually fresh. But they did dry out pretty quickly with the candles in them. And the haunted house one was actually pretty worse for wear. It was not looking too particularly wonderful, actually. It was all curled up and stuff. Yeah, it did not end up as good as I would have liked, but people still enjoyed it. They still were like, "Oh, you're so talented." And it's like, well, eh, I don't think like to me carving pumpkins is literally it's literally like playing connect the dots because that's basically what it is. Like carving pumpkins, it's like you just download a pattern off the internet that you want to carve. Yeah, yeah, you tape it onto the pumpkin. You have, of course, a pumpkin carving kit with the tools to do this. You poke with a poker the outline of the pattern that you are going to carve, and then you connect the dots. And oftentimes the pattern will have instructions of what order to do things in to carve out the various pieces. So to me, it's just connect the dots. It's like, well, don't praise me for the pattern because the pattern's not mine. A. If you want to praise me for the technical skill of following dots, sure. But anyway, besides that, it ended up being a fine evening. Although, an evening where I just had to like sit and read while waiting for people for 2 hours because trick or treating here ends at 8 p.m. There is no official start time in this city, but the first trick or treaters didn't start coming by until the 6 o'clock hour, at least quarter after 6 was when we started seeing people stop by. And then the last one to stop by was just slightly after quarter till 8. So a good hour there of folks with stragglers at the top and bottom ends. So yeah, it ended up being all right. Decent night, windy night, very windy night. Had some trouble keeping the pumpkins lit because of that. Just because overnight there was a big wind and rain and storm that went through, dropped the temperature by like over 30 degrees. It was 82. It was in the 80s yesterday Fahrenheit as the high, and then it just plummeted overnight, and today is going to be like 60s. So yeah, it's a big difference there. The kitty is returning. Hello. Hi. You wanna say hi? You wanna say hi? Yeah, you wanna say hi? Hmm? Yeah, you wanna say hi, my pretty boy? The pretty boy has a cold, I think. Or it's just getting over a cold. Yesterday he had it pretty bad. Or was that the day before? I think it was yesterday, something like that. He was staggering. Uh, pro- Likely because of the cold. It was the other day. But he's not staggering today. He's not staggering today, which is nice. Which is nice. He's more normal kitty. He's more normal kitty. Doesn't have stuff in his eyes either today, which is great. So, what about the streaming? Well, yesterday was the Morrowind stream. Didn't have as many people as I usually do. Probably because it was Halloween, but I did do something special for Halloween, and I wore my Red Panda Kigurumi during the stream. And the idea for that stream was we were going to completely break the game through massive amounts of exploits. And I did just that over the course of 3 hours. We have become an unkillable god. Although I did choose not to give myself like insane hit points or anything like that. No, we could die if something were to hit us, or if I'm careless, completely careless, because the HP is not buffed up to insane levels. I have not fortified HP for infinity amount of time, uh, but I have gotten like near infinite amounts of magic, near like supreme amounts of luck, supreme amounts of agility. You know, a feather effect of hundreds of thousands of units of weight that lasts days. So yeah, it's we really like beat the living crap out of the balance of the game in that stream, and you know what? It's just going to make the rest of the playthrough go that much faster, which is ideal considering we only really have 2 more streams of Morrowind before the launch of Pokemon Sword and Shield, and I still want to stream Sword and Shield. Like, I want to stream Sword and Shield, and it will likely preempt everything uh, for my streams. I am probably going to exclusively stream Sword or Shield the normal stream days after its release. Their release, I should say. I have one of each coming on the 15th, I think is the release date, Friday, November 15th. So 2 weeks from today is the launch of Sword and Shield. Very much looking forward to that. The guide releases a week later. I also have the guide coming a week later, and I also have the Pokedex pre-ordered, and that's at towards the end of December, like just in time for my birthday, in fact. My birthday is coming up December 22nd, and that is a Sunday, and that is a stream day. Oddly enough, because next year is a leap year, that means I also stream on my birthday next year, because that will be a Tuesday, the 22nd in 2020. So that was the Morrowind stream. The Factorio streams this week. The Sunday stream had a lot of people, stopping by. Both streams, in fact. Sunday stream was all about setting up an actual super alloy setup and setting up real helium production. Once I got the trickle of initial super alloy from helium coming out of particle acceleration, using that super alloy, making special small parts to make the buildings that I needed to build to actually set up further processing to make helium. In my case, I chose to do that out of petroleum gas, doing liquid petroleum, and going into dry gas stream and beyond out of the petroleum gas based setup for that, which is not the most efficient process of making helium. Initial first steps, the back end process is identical no matter how you get the dry gas stream, but there's basically 3 or 4 different ways of getting dry gas stream that lead into that second half of the chain. The best way would be to process regolite, mine and process regolite, but the idea of my stream save is that I'm not mining that stuff. I'm not mining when possible. When it's practical to not do the mining, I will not do the mining. And in this case, getting petroleum is free to me. I consider it to be reasonably free, and the space requirement is reasonably suitable. It's suitable to not be too much of a pain in the rear. So yeah, that's what we're going with, is the next best method, which is the petroleum. And yeah, so then with super alloy, with special small parts, with circuit 3s, we now have the ability to make a whole bunch more stuff, including better modules with the circuit 3s, better and then stuff for Mark III buildings. And by the time you have all the stuff for Mark III buildings, you have all the stuff to make circuit 4s. / you have all the stuff to go into utility science to then make circuit 4s. So, yay. Yay, it will all lead into the science and into the further circuits, which is fine in my books. I will be very happy to be finishing this off. The following stream on Tuesday was all about scaling up our Circuit 2 production and working on scaling up the Circuit 2 production. I have a lot more work to do logistics-wise off screen for that I would like to get done before this coming Sunday's stream so that we can just be in a state where we have the extra influx of the Circuit 2s coming in. But yeah, it's a decent amount of work that still needs to be done because I'm also scaling my production of phosphates and things like that as well. So that went well as well. Plenty of people showed up to that stream. In fact, at this point, I think I can now discuss what the statistics look like. So the stats on the Sunday stream, 5.7 average views. The Tuesday stream was 4.7, and then the Thursday stream, unfortunately, on Halloween, it was only 2.1 as the average views there. The Thursday stream is usually lower just because it's a different game than I usually play, but yeah, that was slightly, ever so slightly disappointing. But anyway, we're at 3.9 on the average views over the last 30 days right now. So that's glorious. That is absolutely glorious. I have also started to schedule out a break exactly at the halfway mark of my streams. I have now scheduled that I will take a break, even if I don't feel like I need to take a break, at the 11:30 time, which is an hour and a half from the start of the stream, so that I can not only have a break and get up, stretch the legs, use the bathroom, and all of that, but I will also run a 1 minute ad break during that time. And what that allows is it gives some time where people can join the stream to look at the stream and not get an ad when they've joined the stream. That's all that really does. And in my review of how this is supposed to work, or some feature that I was reading about at some point, to my knowledge, running an ad break gives you a certain period of time where people who will come into your channel don't see an ad. I think that applies on affiliates. I really don't know. It's like I have to look into this. Now, regardless, if you would like to block the ads, go ahead and block the ads. I would just ask that you consider becoming a patron on Patreon at least $1 per month, and that will more than cover any potential non-income of you blocking the ads until the end of time, regardless of how much you watch on my channel. So, if you want to block ads, I would just ask that you just throw $1 at my Patreon, just so that you can more than offset whatever ad revenue would not come to me because you've blocked the ads. Anyway, with that, now the month of October, I will say that there were 2 Prime subs through the month of October. That was on the 3rd and on the 8th. 2 Prime subs. No paid subs. No gifted subs. Currently speaking, 32 cents of ad revenue. There is no place in the affiliate agreement that I know of that says that you cannot discuss what your ad revenue is, which is fine by me. $2.20 through cheering. This was through the Gentleman's Thoughts, giving a 100 bits twice with a plus 10% cheer. So he effectively, that means I got 110 bits each time. So $2.20 through that, and that is it. Yeah, so $7.51 for the month of October. Adding that to the month of September, which had the 1 Twitch Prime sub from the very first Prime subber who did not renew in the month of October. Still has some time to renew, I think, to keep their streak going if they so choose. But I think that was Verzer. Verzer was that sub that has not renewed. I think. But anyway, that is that. So we're at like $10.01 accrued thus far. I wish there was a way to see that somewhere in Twitch, but there's not like a place on Twitch that tells you exactly what the unpaid balance is in Twitch. Now, for reference, you need to accrue $100 before Twitch will pay out. So just bear in mind that for Twitch to pay out, it needs to accrue to 100 total dollars, which at this rate, yes, will pay out within a year, but still, that's a very long time to have to for things to accrue. And as an affiliate, you must get a payout at least once every 12 months to remain an affiliate. So, just bearing all of that in mind. Now, today is also the day that Patreon is doing its thing. Patreon is processing the renewals at this point in time. Yeah, Patreon is processing, so we shall see what the actual earnings look like after they've finished doing all of the processing of stuff. 33% processed. Oh joy. Oh bliss. So we shall see how that looks going forward. But anyway, we're still growing. We're still growing, regardless. Now, what about the YouTube side of things? Well, as it turns out, yesterday, someone, went through and clicked on a whole bunch of videos in the Harvest Moon playlist. They, cycled through a whole bunch of them, so the actual view count is sort of skewed for yesterday fairly highly because they just went one to the next to the next to the next to the next, and each one of those counted as a view, unfortunately. So it's like this big spike, 62 views in the 4 o'clock hour yesterday, and then 26 in the 5, bringing me to 220 views yesterday. So, slightly skewed. Slightly skewed, but still effectively the same amount of views as last week. A bit higher on the watch time versus the previous week. For the month of October, view count is 4,500 though, with a watch time of 82.4K. Now, apparently, versus a same 31 days prior, this is down. But versus September itself, it's not that far down. It's more watch time. And it's effectively the same number of subscribers, 20 versus 21, October and September. Now, if we compare October to August, well, we're much higher than August. We're much higher than we were 2 months ago. But we are, I guess, technically a bit lower than September. Even though the watch time's effectively the same versus the previous 31 days, down 1%. Subscribers is technically down 9% versus the previous 31 days, which was August 31st through September 30th. That was 22 subs versus 20. I consider that effectively the same rate. The number of views, 4.5K versus 5.3. What this means is that people are watching more, and that is, I can see that in the engagement statistics. The average view duration in October is up 17% versus the previous 31 days. And however, watch time itself is down 1%. So this is just a difference in number of views in the 31 days. So yeah, average view duration up to 18 minutes 19 seconds versus September, which was 15:41, and August, which was 14:10. So average view duration going up. We're going up. And then the other thing I wanted to make note of is that impressions are up by 7% in October. Now, September they were up like 48%, but impressions are rising, which is also very good to see. Even though the click-through rate is a little bit lower, 3.1% in October versus 3.6, it's good to see that the impressions is rising. That means I'm doing at least something right to get the algorithm to at least show people the content, right? Like that's what that means. That means that Google is showing people the content more often, which is most ideal. That is a very ideal situation. As of today, we are at 650 flat subscribers. This number does like fluctuate up and down, but yeah, 650 as of right now. And with that, that basically covers things. That basically covers everything. The other thing that I need to note is that this weekend in the United States is the end of daylight savings time. That is this weekend, so the clocks roll back 1 hour. So if you are, say, somewhere else in the world that does not do daylight savings times transition this weekend, note that the streams this week and all of the videos are going to go live an hour later than usual. So if you also don't go back an hour this weekend, that the stream times will start an hour later than you're used to. Until such time as you do roll back, in which case then they'll be at the same time again. I don't know if everyone is now operating on the same schedule as the U.S. transition. That's like one thing that happened under, I think it was Bush Jr. That decision to extend the timing on daylight savings time was eh. Like eh. They changed the dates for daylight savings time, so that can cause issues sometimes. So just bear in mind that we're going to go from that Eastern time is changing from UTC -4 to UTC -5 soon. This weekend, actually. So the streams next week going to be reflective of Eastern Standard Time and not Eastern Daylight. Anyway, with that, I think I've just about covered everything that I wanted to say for this update vlog. I would like to thank you all for watching. This has been Otaku's Showboat. If you have enjoyed the video, please be sure to comment, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And you can do all of the social stuff through the links in the description below, including following me on Twitch, on Twitter, visiting my website, becoming a patron on Patreon at patreon.com/otakushowboat, and joining my Discord server to take part in the growing community and leaving me all of your opinions and thoughts about all the videos and things I should do and all of that good stuff. And I will, of course, see you all on the next one.